Hey, what's up? We're back, and this week we're going to be doing UFC Argentina. But first, I want to go back talk about last week's event real quick. We did pretty good on it again. We went 10-2 on our picks. We actually were 10-0 and then lost the co-main event and the main event. And I mean, everyone saw how that main event when we were 1 second away from going 11-1. So had a pretty good night. We once again hit on the parlay of the week and the most confident pick. So that's 3 weeks in a row for that. So starting to get on a roll with the parlay of the week again. Like we had been earlier in the year. But first off, we're gonna break down this. Korean Zombie versus Rodriguez card. And the first fight of the night, Mark De La Rosa versus Joby Sanchez. Mark De La Rosa was the most confident pick, and Joby Sanchez made him work for him. Man, I thought Mark De La Rosa won all 3 rounds, but definitely an admirable performance by Joby Sanchez. He looked good. He was denying all the takedown attempts. Showed some pretty good movement on the feet, but Mark De La Rosa really walked him down. He was marching him down. Had some pretty good striking combinations, good boxing combinations, and was grinding on him a little bit, and he looked good, man. He ended up, kind of taking the fight to Joby in the later rounds. Third round, he was kind of beating him up a little bit. Joby took the fight on short notice, so, and both these fighters were at 135. They're usually 125ers, so obviously with the UFC, they don't know if they're going to keep the 125 division, what they're going to do with it, so potentially we're going to see these guys continue to fight at 135 like Mark De La Rosa. Joby Sanchez lost 2 in a row now. I thought he had a good performance. He came in on short notice. I would say he deserves another fight, but who knows, with the way that they're constructing that division right now, what they're trying to do, I don't really know. I mean, hopefully Joby gets another chance to come in there, but don't really know. And then up next we had an actual flyweight fight, so this might be one of the last flyweight fights in UFC history with Eric Shelton versus Joseph Morales. And Eric Shelton was able to get in there and he was dominant, man. He dominated the striking. I thought he kind of, showed some poor fight IQ because the striking, he wasn't getting touched. He was landing. He was piecing up Joseph Morales. Wasn't close on the feet. And, he continued to go for takedowns. He would put his head right in a position to get guillotined. And he almost gave Morales a few chances to win the fight via submission. But he definitely has some pretty good submission defense. He showed he had good control on top, good takedowns, mixed it together well. And Eric Shelton's definitely a guy that, he's had some tough fights against really good guys. He fought Jared Brooks, split decision. He had a split decision versus Tim Elliott, I believe. He had a split decision as well versus Alejandro Pantoja. So he's been on the bad end of some decisions, but he's definitely competitive with the top guys in the division. And for Joseph Morales, that was kind of a dominant beatdown. And Joseph Morales had a pretty decent performance, actually, against Stevenson Figueiredo. So that was a big win, convincing win for Eric Shelton. And Joseph Morales, I mean, he's 1-1 in the UFC now. I would assume he gets another shot. But like I said, with 125 going away, they might just say, since you lost, Morales, sorry, brother, you got to leave. So we're going to have to monitor that, see what happens with that. But I don't know. Hopefully if Eric Shelton, maybe he's going to get the chance to move up, or maybe he'll stay in 125 if they keep him there. I don't know. But up next, you had Devontae Smith against Julian Erosa. And Devontae Smith just looked dominant, man. Came in 46-second knockout. He was someone that I had to bet on. I was pretty confident in him getting the win. And he came out there, he showed exactly why I was confident in him, His athleticism was too much for Erosa. Erosa came in, kept his head on center line. Devontae Smith clipped him, put him down, finished the fight, and pretty devastating finish, an early finish, and that's back-to-back first-round finishes. I think back-to-back finishes within 2 minutes for Devontae Smith, King Cage, since joining Factory X. So that was a great move for his career, and he's going to be looking to continue that. That's a big win. He called out Ross Pearson, which I think is a very good stylistic matchup for him at this point in his career, and at Ross's point in his career. So if he gets that fight, I think he'll have another chance to get another highlight reel type knockout. And for Julian Erosa, he battled his way back to the UFC. He took a fight on short notice. And he said he was guaranteed a second fight here. So he's going to get to go back down to his 145-pound weight class, get another fight, and we'll see if Juicy J can hang around in the UFC. And then next we had Davi Hamosh against John Gunther. And, this is kind of like a sacrifice. They just fed John Gunther to the wolves here, and Davi Hamosh took him down and submitted him. John Gunther had absolutely nothing for him, kind of exactly what everyone predicted, and Davi Hamosh is a problem, man. I mean, that guy's a beast. He's really good. He's someone that I could definitely see being a future contender in that division. He's run through 3 straight guys, 3 straight submissions at 155. So I think it's probably time to give him a top 15 opponent, maybe top 25 guy. See how he fares with them, and then if he can win that fight, you know, the sky's the limit for him. At that point, he'll be a contender. So Davi Ramos is definitely a guy to look for in the future. And for John Gunther, you know, obviously everyone knows that guy most likely isn't UFC level. I would be very shocked if he hung around in the UFC for very long. But he's a funny guy. He's a character. He's tough. He won't quit. He's gritty. He's a grinder. So you got to show respect to a guy like John Gunther. But definitely was outclassed by Davi Ramos in that one. And up next we had Bobby Moffett against Chaz Skelly. And this was an interesting fight. You know, the first round, Chaz Skelly was able to take his back, controlled his back the whole round. Moffett showed some good defense. Skelly never really got that close with the submission. And in the second round, it definitely looked like Bobby Moffett was changing the tide. He came out hard on the feet. Looked like he landed some low leg kicks that affected Chaz Skelly. Looked like Chaz Skelly was getting a little bit tired. He was backing off. And, you know, Bobby Moffett caught him in a darce. And it looked like it was very tight initially, you know, and then they got in that Merce position where I agree with Chaz Skelly, man. I mean, once you get in that position, that Merce position when you're going for the darce, there's not much. I mean, he might have been, obviously he was getting choked. I mean, but I don't think it was that deep at the point where he was extending his arm out, trying to, when the ref tried to, you know, tell him that he was out. I don't think it was that tight at that point. I mean, I think that Skelly, you know, for him to be finished in that position, I definitely think Bobby Moffett would have had to lace the leg. You know, I thought he would have had to get the leg, lace the leg, and then to get that submission, which he was possibly potentially able to do. But, you know, I don't think it was all the way locked in. So it was definitely a bad decision by the ref. And then when they went and looked at the replay, I thought that they might have changed it to a no contest, but he stuck with his original decision, and that's a tough loss for Chaz Skelly. And I'm sure he said he was going to try to appeal it and all that, but I doubt anything changes. You know, they watched the replay. It's hard for me to imagine that they're going to change it on a second replay. But, you know, good win for Bobby Moffett. He's won 3 straight fights via darce now, and maybe they'll run it back. Who knows? Maybe that's the right thing to do for that fight, but it would look like it was an interesting fight up until then. And then up next we had Ashley Yoder against ABC Amanda Bobby Cooper. And I was happy to see Ashley Yoder get on the right side of a decision finally. You know, she's had a tough road in the UFC where she's had a lot of very close decisions, some decisions that haven't got her way where a lot of people thought she won. And maybe this one, you know, it was 50-50 as well. Some people thought Cooper won. But, you know, Yoder, I think she, you know, she had deserved that decision for losing the other decisions. And also, you know, I think that she's just a tougher chick than Amanda Bobby Cooper, man. I think that she's someone that I don't think she's ever going to be a, like, you know, a UFC champion, but I think she can push people, man. I think that she has that heart. She has the will to fight, and she's, you know, she has some dangerous qualities about her. I thought her striking looked a little bit worse than it did against Mackenzie Dern. I thought she had some decent power against Mackenzie Dern, but she definitely looked a little bit sloppier in this fight, but she got it done. She got the win. And she probably kept her job in the UFC. And for Amanda Bobby Cooper, I would imagine, you know, with a record of 3-5, I think it's hard for me to imagine she's going to keep her job here. And she'll probably go to Invicta, try to build back up, and see if she can return to the UFC. And up next, we had Michael Trizano against Luis Pena, and we picked the upset here with Michael Trizano, and it cashed for us. It came through. Trizano got the win here. He was able to kind of do exactly what I thought he would do. He came out with this smart game plan where he wanted to use his leg kicks, use his jab, touch up Violet Bob Ross, keep it on the feet, and he was able to do that. And I thought that on the feet it was really no contest. You know, Trizano was landing some nice combinations, and some nice counter punches, and it looked like Luis Pena really had nothing for him on the feet. But Pena definitely learned a little bit from Khabib, learned a little bit from Islam Makhachev. That single leg was on point. The way that he was dumping him one side or the other was really nice, and you know, it was a close fight. You know, Pena was able to take him down in the third round. He was kind of controlling him on top for a little bit, but he didn't really get anything done. And Trizano was landing some big shots, so definitely think the rightful guy won the fight. And Trizano, that's a big win. And Luis Pena just talked about going down to 145 pounds. I think that if he can make that weight safely, that would be a good weight class for him, because I think he could be a dominant wrestler at that weight class. So, you know, I don't think it's a big setback for Luis Pena, and it's a big win for Michael Trizano. So that's a good case for both guys. I think Trizano's going to get a higher profile guy next from getting this victory, and I think if Luis Pena can continue to work on his skills, he's only 5-1 now. He was only 5-0 going into that fight. I think he's definitely someone that has potential. And I'm excited Macy Barber against Hannah Cyphers, and Man, Macy Barber was our other part of the parlay of the week, and she just, took a two-handed ciphers, got her in the clinch, landed these nasty elbows. I mean, vicious elbows. I haven't seen vicious elbows like that from a female in a long time. I can't even remember the last time I seen someone bloody up a female with standing elbows like that in a fight. So definitely very impressive by Macy Barber. I mean, she was landing a nice check left hook. She had good distance control, good kicks. Cypress was a tough chick, man. Very strong in the clinch, very tough. She was taking a lot of big shots, and you could tell that she wanted to be in there. She wanted to fight, and she wasn't going to give up in there. She wasn't going to quit. She's a warrior, and she was severely undersized in that fight. I mean, she's probably an atom weight of 105er in my opinion, but she's someone that I think could give trouble to a lot of girls in the division. I'm actually was impressed with Hannah Cypher's just ability to just be in the fight mentally, just be in the fight mentally and to give it her all, to be a strong girl. And I think that she's someone that could, beat some lower level girls in the UFC. And up next we have Beneil Dariush against Thiago Moises. This was a dominant win by Beneil Dariush. Thiago Moises once again showed that passivity in his striking game where he just let Beneil back him up to the fence, take him down to the ground, and he showed some pretty good submission attempts. He almost had him in an armbar very early. He, I think he had a leg lock at one point. But Beneil was just able to take him down, control him, and he just dominated the fight. I mean, I think he got a couple 30-25s, and it was a big win for Beneil Dariush, man. I mean, after losing 2 in a row, I think he lost 1 in a row. He had the draw, and then he had the loss to Barbosa. So 2 losses and a draw in his last 3. And to come back in a dominant win like that, I'm sure that's a big confidence booster for Beneil Dariush. And he showed that he's still there, man. He can still compete with the higher, maybe not the higher level of the competition. I don't know if he proved that yet. I mean, I think he still can. But he still proved that he's still there. He's still ready to go. He's going to come in. He's going to fight. His chin isn't gone 100% yet. His will to win isn't gone. And, that's not a bad loss for a guy like Thiago Moises to come in, fight one of the best guys in the world at 155, take a loss. That's going to be a learning experience for him. Sure, he's going to bounce back better than ever. And Thiago Moises is definitely, a pretty well-rounded guy. And up next, Jermaine Durandamy against Raquel Pennington. And Jermaine just, in my opinion, dominated this fight. Raquel was able to get the clinch in certain positions and control her against the fence, but she wasn't doing anything with that clinch position. She was just stalling, really, just holding her against the cage. And Jermaine was the one that had the tie plum. She was landing the cleaner shots. At range, she was really busting up Raquel. She was dominant at range. And Jermaine said she had an eye problem going into this fight where she was blinded for a period of time, and she wasn't getting, passed by the commission in the U.S., and there was a lot of stress for her to get this fight. So definitely was a big win for Jermaine Durandamy. She showed that she's still there. She's still ready to compete, and she's won 4 in a row. That's 4 straight wins for her. She's definitely a threat at that 135-pound division for anybody. She's improved her takedown defense, and her striking is potentially the best at that division. So she's definitely a threat for the title there. And she's already been a 145-pound champion, even though, whatever you want to say about that. And for Rocky Pennington, 2 straight losses to the higher up in the division. I think she kind of cemented herself as the gatekeeper to the top 15, top 10. She's a tough girl. She brings it. She's opportunistic with her finishes. She's strong in the clinch. She has a decent boxing game, good wrestling. But she's just not athletic enough to beat the upper echelon of the division, in my opinion. And I don't think she's ever going to move past that gatekeeper type role. And up next, you had Donald Cerrone against Mike Perry, and what a win for Donald Cerrone, man. Most wins in UFC history, most finishes in UFC history. He broke Mike Perry's arm. I mean, his face that he made when he was breaking that arm, when he was torquing on it, was just pure, like fuck you, motherfucker. Like, he was amped up for the fight. You could tell he really wanted to, give a fuck you to his camp, to his old camp, Mike Wigglejohn. And now Mike Wigglejohn's on Instagram talking shit about Cerrone back. So there's a lot of drama in that camp. I mean, they're going back and forth. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a good look for Wigglejohn as a coach to be coming back on Instagram at Cowboy Cerrone, to be honest. I mean, I think he should have just let it be. After Cowboy got the win, eat the loss. Don't come out looking like a sore loser. Perry came out. He gave him props. He told him he broke his fucking arm or something. And, Perry came out there and he took him to the ground, which I thought was idiotic. I mean, very stupid decision by Mike Perry. And it just shows that maybe Mike Perry's never gonna evolve. Maybe he's never gonna get that mental game in order to where he could become that higher level fighter that he can with his intangibles, man. I mean, the guy's a huge hulking athlete. He's explosive. He has good grappling. He's hard to hold down. He has knockout power. He's fast. He has a great chin. But, you know, it's just some guys just don't have that thing upstairs. They don't have the mental to, you know, bring it all together. You know, that's 3 out of 4 losses now for Mike Perry. So definitely on his skid, you know. I mean, 3 out of 4 losses. Yes, fought some decent competition. You know, Ponzinibbio, Max Griffin, Don Cerrone. His 1 wins over Paul Felder, who's also another good guy. So, but, you know, Platinum's obviously not going to get cut or anything, but I think that's a pretty big loss for him. I mean, now I think he probably has to win 3, 4, 5 more fights to even get in that title talk potential again. And for Cerrone, he had a great win, man. I mean, he got to bring his kid into the octagon. It was at home. It was a great moment. And now he wants to move back down to 155 pounds, trying to make a run for the title. I mean, I don't know about that, but Cerrone proved he's still there again. You know, people always want to try to ride him for dead. I tried to do it again. I picked Mike Perry. And he came out, he proved me wrong, he proved a lot of people wrong, he got the win, and, you know, the old dog's still kicking, you know, 35 years old, fought so many times in the UFC, fought a list of killers, and, came through, and he won another one, man. Big win for Donald Cerrone. And up next, Yair Rodriguez versus Korean Zombie, Chan Sung Jung, and I can't lie, man, this fight kind of broke my heart a little bit, you know. I'm a massive fan of Korean Zombie, you know, he's one of my favorite fighters of all time, and you just have to go through this guy's lineup, man. You just have to respect what he's done. You know, in the UFC, he's had 6 fights in the UFC. And let's just assume that this fight with Yair Rodriguez is going to be Fight of the Year because, you know, I don't see much beating that right now. So I'm going to say that wins Fight of the Year. He had a fight with Dustin Poirier, Fight of the Year. Mark Hominick, KO of the Year. Leonard Garcia, Submission of the Year. So in 4 out of his 6 fights, he's gotten an Of the Year award, which is just incredible, man. I mean... He always brings it, high action. I mean, this guy's never going to disappoint. And I thought he was putting it to Yair, man. I mean, I thought that Yair was much more static. He was standing in front of him a lot more than I thought he would do. And Yair showed a great chin, man. I mean, Korean Zombie was blasting him with some big fucking hooks, man. Big right hooks, big left hooks, straight punches, and just hammering him. And Yair was hammering Zombie's leg. Yair was giving it back with kicks. He was landing some nice punches as well. It was a back-and-forth fight, but I thought that Zombie, even in the 5th round, I thought it could have been 2-2, 3-1 Zombie going into the 5th with 2 judges had it 3-1 Zombie. So 1 second away from a guaranteed victory, but I thought he was definitely winning that 5th round. You know, he was beating up Yair in that 5th round. It looked like Yair didn't have much left in that 5th round, and in my opinion, man, Zombie kind of let Yair off the hook. You know, when Yair kept stopping the fight, going for high fives, going for hugs and doing all that, I think he was just gassed, man. And Zombie should have just stepped on the gas, man. He shouldn't have showed that much respect. And he should have went for it. And maybe he could have put Yair out in that 5th round. But, you know, the game ends how it ends. And Yair was able to get an upward no-look elbow KO with 1 second left. And just utterly ridiculous shit, man. I mean, I've never seen that before. That was unbelievable. I mean, amazing by Yair Rodriguez to be able to... I mean, for one, just to throw that up with 1 second left and it lands, I mean, I don't know what the likelihood of that elbow knocking someone out with the 1 second left in a 5-round fight is, but, man, I mean, that probably had to be a fucking Powerball, but, I mean, what a performance by both guys. They gave it their all, you know. Yair Rodriguez came out there on 2 weeks' notice and in elevation and knocked the guy with 1 second left in the 5th round. His cardio definitely was going down, but looked phenomenal, man. I mean, you could never count out Yair Rodriguez's cardio. You could never question his heart. And Chan Sung Jung, I mean, what a warrior he is, man. I mean, he was getting lit up, too. Never took a step back. I mean, that guy, he's always going to be one of my favorite fighters of all time. Nothing but respect to both guys. And I think they're both going to probably take a lot of time off, you know. I mean, I think that was a brutal war, especially Chan Sung Jung. I mean, that knockout was bad. And, I hope they come back and they come back strong. You know, Korean Zombie kind of cemented himself that he's still there. You know, he's not faded. He's not too old. He's not too slow. He just had a 5-round battle with one of the best guys in the division, and he was winning the whole fight until the last second. So Zombie definitely proved that he's still probably a top 10 fighter. And it was an incredible win for Yair Rodriguez, and he bounces back, and now he's once again in that spotlight where he's a fringe contender in that division. So what an amazing night of fights for the 25th year anniversary. I mean, just a fantastic show. And now we're going to hopefully have another great show with Ponzinibbio versus Neil Magny. And the first fight of the night is Nirimani. He's going to be taking on Anderson Dos Santos. And this is a fun fight, man. I mean, this is the fourth opponent, I believe, for Nirimani, but it's a good one, man. I mean, Anderson Dos Santos is someone that I've been wanting to see in the UFC for a while. Ever since I watched him fight in Titan FC a couple times, I mean, he's a dangerous fighter. And he's going to be taking this fight on a pretty short notice. I believe like less than 10 days notice or something. And he just fought on November 3rd and he won a decision. So this is going to be a second fight in 3 weeks. I wasn't able to find that fight, so I don't know if it was like a back and forth war. I don't know what it was. That's a little bit concerning, you know. And he's going to be taking on Nirimani, you know, the popular English fighter. He's a former Cage Warriors world champion. And he had a dominant win in his UFC debut, and he's going to probably be looking to move to 2-0 here. And Anderson Dos Santos, he's someone that I've, you know, like I said, I've long wanted the UFC, but he is a bit older now, but he's still very dangerous. He's a tough matchup for Nad, too, in my opinion. You know, he's a dangerous Muay Thai striker. He likes to plant his feet in the center, and he has fast hands. He throws all his shots with full power. He doesn't really throw very jabs or setups, really. Instead, he uses counter hooks, straight punches. He has a nasty right hook. He has a very nice check left hook. His straight right hand has big power. We saw that where he dropped Ricky Simone with it. He choked Ricky Simone out. He's the only person to defeat Ricky Simone in Ricky Simone's career. And he has no power throwing down in the pocket. He's calm in a war. He is flat-footed. He'll stand right in front of fighters. He'll walk them down, invites them to hit him. He'll rarely throw kicks, but he will throw the occasional leg kick, occasional body kick. And he can't get clipped as he moves into range, but he has a good chin. He'll continue to press forward. His style will always leave him open to potentially being finished by strikes, though. But he's a finisher. It makes him dangerous as well. He has 5 KO TKOs, and he'll drop fighters and finish them also on the ground. And he's been finished 3 times via KO TKO himself. Like I said, he's a guy that's a brawler. He invites people into wars, and then he tries to win it with his good chin and his power punching. So definitely is a risky game, but it's a dangerous game for his opponent as well. And he's a good grappler, and he has good clinch control. He likes to dig underhooks, land knees, tries to dump his opponents to one side or the other. And then he looks to take that back standing. You know, he does a good job of getting a wrist ride, getting to the back. And he also has good level changes. He'll change the levels, go for the singles and the doubles against the cage. He isn't the greatest wrestler. He could struggle to finish takedowns, but he has good cage control. And if he can get on top, he's nasty. You know, he transitions very quickly. He'll move right into mount where he'll land heavy ground and pound until fighters get their backs. And he has 8 rear naked chokes. He's very good at scrambling, fighting the back. He doesn't have great takedown defense. If you pass his guard, fighters are able to land some ground and pound on him. He is tough. He'll never stop moving and try to survive in situations. And he has decent get-ups against the cage. He does have good cardio. He's a pressure fighter. And he needs to look to keep this fight standing, stay off his back. And probably, in my opinion, he'll have the faster hand speed and the bigger power. And if he can stuff Nirimani's takedowns and put the pressure on Nirimani, make it a war, I think he could really pull it off. I think he's a live dog here. And Nirimani's a grinder. He's a forward pressure fighter. He's light on his feet. He has a good jab. He throws leg kicks, body kicks. He'll throw a front snap kick to the body. He's always trying to move in and out of range. He's trying to be a moving target. He'll throw a straight right hand, a right hook. He also has a decent check left hook. But he can struggle to find range at times. And he will try to open up with jump knee, jumping roundhouse kicks, and, you know, crazy techniques to try to close the distance. And he doesn't really have great striking. His striking is just to find a takedown. He can enter striking range at times with his chin high when he kicks, too. And tends to look uncomfortable if he cannot find takedowns for long periods of time. And he needs to be careful in close range with Dos Santos. He cannot walk onto a shot because Dos Santos has the power to hurt him. And Nirimani doesn't have big power. He only has 2 TKOs in his career. But he is a very tough guy. He's never been finished. And he's a strong wrestler. He's always going to be looking for opening to take it to the ground. He does a great job of catching kicks, getting the fight to the mat. He also has good timing on double legs. He has good control on top. And when he gets opponents to the ground, he does a great job of staying attached to his opponent if they try to get up, grinding on him, pulling him back to the ground. He does a good job of fighting the back where when he has good control. He was shucked off by Khalid Taha when he was on the back, but he did a good job digging the underhook, standing right back up, getting right back in on legs, getting the takedown. And he's very physically strong. He's strong in the clinch. He has good double underhooks. He slows down the fight against the cage. He also has a good rear naked choke, and he's never been submitted himself. He has great cardio, and I see Nirimani trying to do his thing. You know, pressure Dos Santos, get him moving backwards, get him to the cage, fake some striking, level change, close the level change, take him down, get him to the ground. And if he can get Anderson on his back, he has a chance to grind him out. He can win a decision or potentially win with ground and pound here. And this is a very interesting fight. I think Dos Santos has a big chance to pull the upset here. Dos Santos is the better striker. He's the more dangerous fighter. If there's a finish, I believe it'll be from Anderson. I think Anderson's more dangerous on top position from the ground game as well as standing. And I think he has average takedown defense though. He can't get thrown off his back. And Nirimani on a full camp, you know, that's what he wants to do. He's a grinder. He's going to want to take him down, control him on the ground. And I think that if he had a full camp here and he was traded for Nirimani, I would give him a pretty good chance to win. But since he's taking this fight on very short notice, I'm going to say Nirimani gets the win by decision. But I definitely think Anderson Dos Santos is a tough fighter. He's a good addition to the weight class. And he has a chance to pull the upset there. And up next we have Devin Powell against Jesus Pinedo. And this is another late replacement fighter. Jesus Pinedo is coming in on short notice. It's supposed to be Claudio Puelles, who's trained out of the same gym. They're at Pitbull Martial Arts, which is a gym that I really like in Peru. You know, they've produced fighters like him, Claudio Puelles, Enrique Barzola, so 3 UFC level guys. And I'm not sure if they have more, but those are 3 big names there, or 3 guys that have made it to a high level, so definitely know what they're doing. And Pinedo's normally a 145er, but he's very tall. He's 6 feet tall, and he's a big guy, you know, so I don't think he's going to be very undersized here in this fight. And Powell's coming off a UFC career-saving win. You know, he had a first-round knockout of Alvaro Herrera, but he was getting pieced up a bit before that fight. He got dropped, and you know, it wasn't the best performance in my opinion. But Pinedo's only 22 years old, but he's very experienced. He's 15-4-1. He's been a pro since he's been 18. And he's extremely aggressive. He's very tall. He's a long striker. He has good in-and-out movement. And he likes to paw with his jab to gauge distance. He also has a nasty left hook, straight right hand. He has nasty kicks. He'll throw snap kicks to the body, hard round kicks to the body and to the head. He's very fast with his kicks, and they're powerful in the pocket. Though he can get a little bit wild, he'll start to brawl, throw straight punches and hooks without caring about defense, and it leaves him open to be hit and knocked out, but it also makes him very dangerous. And he's at his best when he can get his movement going, start making his opponent fight moving backwards while staying at his in-and-out range, staying in and out, hit not getting hit. And he's going to have a massive speed advantage over Powell, and I think he should bully him on the feet with forward pressure. I think he should try to walk him down. He has strong knees and elbows in close range. He's always trying to finish the fight. He has 7 KO, TKO finishes, but like I said, his open style does leave him vulnerable to being finished himself. And he has been KO'd twice. He is young. He's only 22 years old. He still has a good chin. He's very calm and experienced in wars now. He's been in a lot of them. And when he has fighters hurt, he swarms. And if he hurts Powell on the feet, I see him most likely finishing him. And he's a strong grappler as well. He's strong in the clinch. He has nasty knees to the body and to the head. He has good elbows. He finishes opponent in the clinch too. His long frame makes him very dangerous there with those shots. He will occasionally shoot for doubles and singles against the cage. He has nice throws in the clinch, but usually just prefers to strike. His takedown defense is strong. He has a good sprawl. He'll throw big elbows or get in top position. On top, he's devastating with ground and pound. He's relentless. He'll rain down big punches and elbows. Definitely has knockout power. He has nice submissions as well. He has a good armbar from out. He'll transition into a triangle. And he has a nasty guillotine. He can finish it from standing position. And this kid's dangerous. He has a lot of potential to make waves in the UFC, in my opinion. He's trained at a pretty solid gym. And with steady improvements, Pinedo could potentially be, you know, a top 15 fighter in the UFC. And Pinedo's going to want to keep this fight standing, walk Powell down. And he's going to be the faster fighter with more power. If he can keep Powell moving backwards, I think he can finish him with strikes. Pinedo does sometimes get a bit fatigued, but those are in stand-up wars, and I'm not sure if Powell's equipped to give him a war standing up, so I'm not sure if he'll get that tired. And Pinedo has 9 first-round finishes, and I see him looking to try and make it 10 on Saturday night, but Devin Powell's a tough guy. He's fighting out of Lozon's MMA. He isn't a great striker. His hands are not good. He doesn't really have faith in his boxing, and due to that, he likes to stay at kicking range. When fighters close the distance, he looks uncomfortable. He'll wing hooks, but he ducks his head. He stays flat-footed. He just covers up. He'll throw occasional uppercut. He definitely prefers to stay kicking range, like I said. He'll throw leg kicks. body kicks. He has a strong body kick. He was able to finish the fight with it in his last fight. He will throw the occasional side kick to the body. He'll go up top to the face with it. He backs up. He gives the center of the cage away way too easily. He allows fighters to jam his kicks, land punishment. And he isn't a great athlete. His speed isn't at the same level of Pinedo. And he does have a good chin, though. He can take a lot of punishment. He likes to wing overhands, get wild and close distance. And he definitely will fight till the bitter end. And he doesn't possess big power. He only has 3 KO TKOs in his career. And he's never been finished himself. Like I said, he's definitely a tough guy. He isn't much of a wrestler, but he does attempt takedowns from time to time. He'll try to land reactive double legs or shoot a single, drive his opponent to the cage, and then try to get a double or a body lock against the cage. And on top, he doesn't have the greatest top control, but he will attack with front chokes, guillotines. In the clinch, he isn't very strong. He was bullied for 3 rounds. He wasn't able to get up or get off the cage against Shakar Close. He does have some decent knees to the body, elbows to the head in the clinch, but he doesn't have great takedown defense. He is tricky off his back. It's probably his best chance to win this fight, in my opinion. He'll throw up triangles. He'll throw up Kimuras, but he was controlled by Daryl Horcher, and Horcher was able to rack up a lot of control time against him. Powell does have good cardio, and that, with along with durability, are possibly the most impressive things about him. On the feet, he's going to be severely outgunned. You know, he doesn't want to play a kicking game with Pinedo. Pinedo showed pretty solid cardio of late, but he has tired in the past, and Powell should look to take this fight into the later rounds and finish late. I think this is a great matchup for Pinedo. Pinedo is, in his UFC debut, he is a bit open to be hit, but he has faced much harder kickers in fights. I watched, and he was able to take the shots. He's going to be having a massive speed advantage here and boxing advantage in the pocket. I don't think Powell can take him down, and I think if he tries, Pinedo will make him pay for it. And Pinedo's very good on top. He has a chance to finish if he gets in top position. And I think Pinedo has a good chance to be the first person to finish Devin Powell here. I already have a bet placed on Jesus Pinedo, so that's something that I'm going to tell you guys right now. And I'm going to take Jesus Pinedo via second round TKO. And I think it might be a ground and pound, but I'm definitely leaning towards Jesus Pinedo in that fight. And up next, we have Hector Aldana against Lariano Staropoli. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, really low level. You know, like Staropoli, I really wasn't impressed with his film at all, man. You know, I was able to find a semi-recent fight he had where he won via first round KO. And he does have good hand speed. He has some leg kicks. He likes to throw a lead hook, jabs to the body and to the head. He doesn't move his head. He can get hit with big shots. He tries to use lateral movement and move, but he doesn't have fast feet. Fighters are able to cut him off. He does do a good job attacking the body. He'll throw big hooks to the body. He'll throw the jab to the body, like I said, hooks to the body. Decent straight right hand. He has a good right hook. He's very aggressive closing the distance with punches. He likes to throw wide hooks that close a lot of distance, but fighters are able to duck under, get takedowns very easily, and he's very hittable. He seems to have a good chin, but his style will eventually get him knocked out if he doesn't tighten it up. And he will throw back if you blitz him. He has good power in his right hand, and when he hurts fighters, he smells blood, he goes for the kill. He has, you know, he's finished 5 fights by KO, TKO, but he hasn't really fought high level of opponents. The combined record of the people that he's defeated are 10-13. And he has been knocked out 1 time already. He seems to have very poor clinch technique, bad takedown defense. He was taken down in the clinch in the fight I saw multiple times. He allowed his opponent to get inside, clinch him up way too easily. And he was able to get his back to the cage, get back up to his feet. But that was against a 1-2 fighter. He does have 2 submissions, and if he hurts you, he'll get on top, he'll go for the finish. He has nasty ground and pound when he has a fighter hurt, and he can knock fighters down unconscious. He's never been out of the second round in MMA, and this is a massive step up in competition, even though Aldana isn't great either. Staropoli needs to come into this fight, try to make it a war. He needs to attack the body well with punches and kicks. And if he can attack heavy to the body, get Hector to drop his hands, he can eventually maybe land a knockout punch up top. He isn't very active. He's fought 1 time in 2018, or he hasn't fought in 2018 at all. He's only fought 1 time per year the last 3 years. And most likely, you know, this will be his only fight of the year as well, obviously, since it's November. So, it seems like he's only fighting 1 time a year. And I don't know how his cardio is, because he's obviously never been out of the second round. But he will be fighting at home in his UFC debut, so I'm sure he's ready to go. And Aldana returned from a 3-year layoff in his last fight. He lost by TKO in round 2. And Aldana's a prototypical Mexican fighter. He's a boxer. He stays in your face, keeps the pace. He likes to go to war. He has big power. He'll throw a nice crisp jab. He follows it up with a straight. He has good hooks. He throws in combination well. He'll change the target. He'll go body head as well. He likes to attack the body with hooks, and he has good accuracy and good power on his hooks. He has very heavy leg kicks, and he could damage your leg with just 1 or 2 kicks, and I think that's going to be a big factor in this fight. He has good head movement. He does a good job getting his head off the center line after he throws in combinations. And he can get too over-aggressive, put himself in bad positions or off balance. He does have big power. He's super aggressive. And when he has fighter hurt or backing up, he'll swarm. He'll go for the kill. He has 2 KO TKOs. And he has shown a decent chin over his career, but he was finished for the first time in his last fight. And he doesn't have good takedown defense or jiu-jitsu. And that'll be an issue if he continues to fight in the UFC, but not in this fight. In the clinch, he can be controlled and pushed against the cage off his back. He does seem a little lost. He doesn't have good get-ups. He was choked out by Enrique Marin in kind of an embarrassing fashion. And he does have 1 submission. And he's been submitted that one time by Marin, but he won't go for many takedowns himself. He doesn't have much of a top game. He did catch kicks, get a couple of trip takedowns in the last fight, but he got up instead of staying in top position. He has good cardio. He fights out in Mexico where the altitude's very high. He's fighting out at Entrim Gym, which is a great gym, great camp out there. But he also hasn't fought the greatest competition, but he has fought more experienced fighters than Staropoli. And this is most likely going to be a stand-up war. I think it's a fairly close match. I would say Staropoli has the bigger punching power, but Aldana has the harder kicks. And I think Aldana has to get off to a quick start, try to blitz Staropoli early. Staropoli seems to start slow, then pick it up as the fight continues. And if Aldana can come out strong out of the chute, he could land some big leg kicks, hurt Staropoli's legs. He could potentially, cruise to a victory here or get an early finish. And Aldana needs to stay on the outside, land his leg kicks, his body kicks, and try to safely close the distance with his jab, land his right hand in the pocket. And I wouldn't hang out in the pocket for a long period of time against Staropoli. But if you can get inside, get in the clinch, grind on him a bit, take him down, I think that he'll be able to do that, to be honest. And Staropoli is the most dangerous in the pocket with his boxing. And I think Staropoli is going to be the bigger fighter. And if he can land clean with a big punch, he can definitely put Aldana down. But if he doesn't, I think he'll lose. And I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to pick Hector Aldana here by decision. And I think this is kind of like a coin flip fight, very close. But, I think that he's pretty good, I don't know. And then up next we have Humberto Bandenay against Austin Arnett. And this is, going to be a striking fight most likely. So it should be kind of fun while it lasts. I think that it'll be a pretty interesting battle. Humberto Bandenay is young. He's an impressive prospect in my opinion. He's very fast. He's very dynamic with his striking. He has a very good straight left hand. He has a solid right jab. And he has very fast hand speed. He has a nasty body kick. He'll go high with it. He has one of the fastest body kicks, I don't want to say one of the fastest kicks I've ever seen, but he has a very fast body kick. And his inside kick is very heavy too. He does inside leg kick, and he does a very good job controlling distance, being able to slide out of the way of opponent shots, come back with his own. He's been in some wars in Peru. He's taken some big shots. He's been able to eat them, battle back. He's also shown that he's been able to get tired, find a way to find a victory, battle through exhaustion. He had a nasty head kick knockout against Martin Bravo in his UFC debut, but he followed that up with the loss recently against Mowgli, and that was not long ago, so he came off a knockout and coming back in 5 months, so we have to see if he completely recovered. But he will crash the distance with long straight punching combinations. He has solid power in his left hand. He's super young, and he trained at Team Oyama for a short period of time. Not sure if he's still doing that, but he definitely is a young guy. He should be improving. He has all the striking skills to be a beast in the division. And he can't get tired, not move his feet, and get tagged with shots as the fight goes on against the cage. But he has a good chin. He does stay calm. He does a good job landing hard shots when you come at him aggressively. He's good at, landing shots in the pocket. And he has 5 KO TKOs himself, and his 1 KO that he KO lost is that 1 slam in his last fight. But he has questionable takedown defense, but he's not bad off his back. He'll go for triangles, fast arm bars. That's where he got slammed off an armbar attempt in his last match. And he has decent takedowns himself. He'll explode on a double leg. On top, he's aggressive with ground and pound. He's active with submissions on top. He has a strong rear naked choke. He has 6 submissions, but he can't be submitted himself. He's been submitted 4 times. And he's been finishing all 5 of his losses. He's 3-0 in decisions. And Austin Arnett, he's a karate fighter. He's a point fighter. He's extremely fast in and out. He has a good straight right hand, nice jab. Throws long combos. If he gets you against the cage, he has good front kicks to the body. He'll throw question mark kicks, head kicks. He's very accurate, but not extremely powerful. He has a problem of doing too much sitting and waiting on his opponents. He lets people walk him down, get him against the fence, start to go first, and he kind of gets into defensive mode. He has a good chin. He's a tough, durable guy. But he did get dropped with body shots and finished in a UFC fight. And he does have 5 KO TKOs, but he doesn't have great power in my opinion. He has poor takedown defense because he likes to attack with guillotines instead of fighting the takedown. He doesn't have much off his back. He gets cut with huge elbows. He got cut in his 2 previous fights, to the one against Hakeem Dawodu, which he lost as well. He has good cardio and good overall base. If you learn how to throw more and not get walked down, he could be dangerous. You know, he has gotten a guillotine a few times in his career. He has 6 submissions. He's only been submitted 1 time himself. I think Arnett needs to make a stand here. He's lucky to get another shot in the UFC, and he needs to not let Bandenay back him up and be so passive. He needs to throw his shots. He needs to flow out there with his karate, try to land a clean shot or win a decision. But I think Bandenay is going to probably knock Arnett out. I see him just being the meaner guy in there. I see him walking Arnett down, walking through his shots, landing big body kicks, and I see Arnett folding to a body kick and getting finished by ground and pound. So I'm going to go with Humberto Bandenay, the second round ground and pound finish. And up next we have Alejandro Pantoja against Yuta Sasaki. And, you know, this is a fun fight. You know, I'm a big fan of Alejandro Pantoja. He's a beast, man. Solid striker. He attacks with good hand combinations, solid leg and body kicks. He has a nice jab. He follows that with a straight right hand down the pipe. Nice hooks to the body. He'll throw a right hook to the body, left hook to the head combination. When he gets opponents against the cage, he'll swarm with shots to the body and the head. He has a nasty step-in knee, and he goes to the body and the head with that as well. And when he lands the head, he could really hurt guys with it. He has a solid chin. He walks through shots, and he'll tell you about it. He loves to be in a war. His pressure and pace are elite. He melts fighters over 3 rounds. He has good power for a 125er. He has 6 KO TKOs. He's never been finished. And he's looked awesome in his last fight after moving his camp to ATT. You know, he straight dominated Brandon Moreno. And he's a great grappler, superb BJJ. He's very strong in the clinch. When he gets fighters against the cage, he'll grab the Muay Thai plum, land hard knees to the head and to the body. He likes to get in a single collar position against the cage, throw nasty elbows and knees to the body as well. And you go for body lock takedowns in the clinch. He has some good reactive shots. And if he has an advantage on the mat, he'll go for it. He'll go for the takedowns. And if he has an advantage on the striking, he keeps it standing. So he comes in with a good game plan. On top, he's very good. He has great guard passing. He moves into dominant positions quickly. He loves to take the back, where he has a great body triangle and control. He has a great rear naked choke with 6 submissions himself. He's never been submitted, and his jiu-jitsu is elite. You know, he has great takedown defense. He does a great job turning the position around and into a dominant one for himself. I see Pantoja trying to close the distance, land hard leg kicks, big combinations, while looking for takedowns. And Sasaki has been submitted with the rear naked choke against Formiga, and submitted with the neck crank early in his career, and he's given his back to a lot of guys, so definitely that seems like a weak spot for him. And Yuta Sasaki had a nice rear naked choke victory himself in his last match, and this is going to be his second full camp at Serra Longo, so he's also went to a new camp and looked better as well. And he has intangibles to improve. He is very tall. He is 5'10" with a 4-inch reach advantage against Pantoja. He's alternated wins and losses so far in his UFC career, and he's coming off a win, so he's going to be hoping to reverse that trend this time out. And Sasaki has a nice jab, good left hook. He'll throw a long right hook, straight right hand. He throws a lot of kicks, knees. He'll throw, front kicks, round kicks to the body, good leg kicks, good step-in knees to the body. He has a strong chin. He has keeps heavy pressure on fighters. He walks through shots. He doesn't have great movement. He stands flat-footed at times. He can stand right in front of fighters without moving his head. He can be hit clean with punches, and it makes him easy to get taken down as well. He isn't a big power striker. He relies more on volume. He only has 2 KO TKOs in his career, and he has only been finished 1 time by KO in his career, so he has a good chin. And he's an opportunistic grappler. He has a dangerous submission game. Unfortunately, the UFC has given him some of the best ground specialists in the sport over his career, so he hasn't shown to be on that level. He was dominated by Wilson Hayes, and he was quickly submitted by Jussier Formiga. He immediately went for a single leg in his last fight. He switched it to a double against the cage. He got the takedown. He has good reactive shots. He can get easy takedowns, and he's relentless with his efforts to get the fight to the ground at times. He'll transition from takedown to takedown until he gets the fighter down. He'll go for body lock clinches, go for singles, doubles. Very good chain wrestler. And on top, he's good. He has good control, great guard passing ability. He doesn't throw much ground pound. He likes to get to side control and then mount, force the opponent to give their back, where he has great control. He will posture up in the mount, throw hammer fists and elbows to get opponents to give their back, and he has good rear naked chokes. He has 11 rear naked chokes in his career. He doesn't have great defensive wrestling. Fighters are able to get in on his legs, get double legs pretty easily. Off his back, he isn't that great. He doesn't have a very dangerous bottom game. He does do a good job defending the rear naked choke, turning in, ending up on top in full guard. And he has good cardio. He can go for all 3 rounds. He has good submission defense. He's only been submitted 2 times. I think Sasaki would try to wrestle in this matchup again. And Pantoja is too clean with his counter punching for a fighter who's flat-footed with poor head movement. And Sasaki will probably want to try to close the distance, get takedowns. If he can take down Pantoja, he can work his top game. But I think this is a very tough matchup for Sasaki. He's outgunned on the feet. He's not as good on the ground. I think Pantoja also has the better wrestling and a great gas tank. Pantoja needs to try to land his jabs, hard leg kicks early to slow down the movement in Sasaki. After that, I see Pantoja being able to get takedowns as well and control from top position. I think he will get the back at some point in this fight, control a lot of time with it, if not get the rear naked choke. I'm going to go with Pantoja being decision in this fight, and I'm pretty confident about this one. And up next, we have Michel Prazeras against Bartosz Babinski, and this has a chance to be a snooze fest, but it is an intriguing grappler versus grappler matchup. Bartosz Babinski, he's the definition of a grinder. His only objective is to get takedowns, work from top position. He returned from a long layoff. He earned a dominant victory against Emil Mek. And Michel Prazeras, he's been on a roll. He's won 7 consecutive fights. He has a record of 9-2 in the UFC. However, he's only 1-0 at welterweight, or 1-1 actually. He lost to Paulo Thiago, where this fight will be contested. And he's going to be the much smaller fighter in this matchup, but he showed he could handle a bigger fighter in his last match against one of the biggest welterweights in the division, against Zach Cummings. So definitely showed that he's not going to be oversized here, or I think he will be, obviously, but he's not going to be intimidated, that's my point. But Bartosz Babinski is a specialist. His striking on the feet is really non-existent. Everything he throws is close the distance. He doesn't have good striking at all at distance. He's very wide with his punches. He throws arm punches. He doesn't really have great power. Keeps his chin high, his head in the same place. He will throw a decent overhand right to clash into the single collar clinch. And doesn't really throw kicks. And if he's forced to strike with his opponents, I see him gassing out. He does have 8 KO TKOs, but those are from ground and pound. He does have a great chin. He's never been finished via strike, so that's something that he relies on in his fights. And he's a tremendous grappler. He's super aggressive with his wrestling. He closes the distance immediately every time he's on the feet. And he'll close the distance, go for a takedown within 5 seconds of every round. And he's a grinder. His game is to close distance, get in the clinch, get the double leg control on top. And very strong. He does a good job playing to his strengths. Always closing the distance and going for takedowns. He doesn't have great takedowns in space. He likes to go for upper body lock clinches. And then double legs against the cage. He will throw a straight right hand, crashing the clinch. He can get caught in guillotines a lot when he goes for double legs, but he's smart with his guillotine offense. He grapevines the legs. He doesn't let opponents control his body, and he'll try to move directly into mount or immediately into side control. And on top, he's very methodical. He works slowly. He can struggle to pass his opponent's guard at times, just show short punches and elbows. He does like to move to half guard, where he'll get more aggressive with ground and pound. He'll posture up. He'll land bigger shots. He has great control, and when he takes fighters down, if they stand back up, he does a good job of staying connected, taking opponents down. And Babinski did get swept by Hector Urbina, but Urbina was not able to control him on the ground. Babinski was also controlled against the cage a bit by Garrett McClellan. And he isn't a submission threat. He's never been submitted once in his career. He's only been submitted one time, and he's never gotten a submission in his career. And Babinski's game plan is not a secret to anyone at this point. He'll be looking to close the distance, take Prazeras down, and Prazeras is very hard to hold down. Even Kevin Lee was not able to control him on his back. Babinski's going to be the bigger fighter, and maybe he can wear Prazeras out with his size and physicality. And Michel Prazeras has improvements. He's improved his striking. He now has solid hands. He has power in his hooks. He'll throw in combination. He'll also throw some body and leg kicks as well. And he's explosive. He does a good job countering opponents' punches with hooks and overhands over the top. He has good leg kicks. He'll throw them inside and outside. He does a very good job disguising his overhands with level changes. And it also helps him get takedowns later on in the fight. He will throw a left hook, right hand combination. Good counter, overhand right. He has good forward pressure. He needs to walk Babinski down, make sure he's not the one with his back against the cage. And he's going to be the faster, more explosive fighter in this match. And he's riding a wave of momentum. He has 7 consecutive wins. But he isn't a knockout threat. He only has 1 TKO in 27 fights. But he's a tough dude. And never been finished in his whole career. And Prazeras is a great grappler. He's a jiu-jitsu black belt. Does a great job using punches to set up his takedowns. He'll throw a big right hook or left hook, duck under for a single leg. He'll also fake the overhand and then shoot a blast double. He will shoot a single lift. His opponent, he'll shoot a single, lift his opponent to off balance him, and then try to take the back from standing position, where he's very good at slamming his opponents or just dragging him to the mat. On top, Prazeras is very active. He has smooth passing. He'll move from half guard to side control on one side all the way to the other side. He's definitely moves from side control to north-south. He's very active with his transitions, looking to set up north-south chokes, arm triangles. Has a strong mount. He gets rear naked chokes. He has good control. Fighters struggle to get up from under him. And he fought a huge welterweight in Cummings in his last fight. He proved he could take him down. He has strong takedown defense. He'll jump for guillotines. He has an active body game. He'll use butterfly hooks to set up triangles. And he's also hard to keep down. And he's really improved his cardio over the years. He can go for all 3 rounds. He's a submission threat for sure with 10 career submissions. He's never been submitted, and I doubt that changes here. And this fight's going to come down to Prazeras can keep this fight in the center of the cage. I don't think Fabitsky's going to try to shoot many doubles or singles in this fight because Prazeras has a low center of gravity, and that's not what he usually likes to do anyways. And I see him trying to clinch, get body locks. And if he can push Prazeras against the cage, control him there while being active enough to not get broken up, I think that's a smart game plan for Fabitsky as well early. I think on the feet, Fabitsky is not going to be as good. He's not going to be nearly as quick. And I think if Fabitsky starts to go for takedowns right away against Prazeras, Prazeras is going to be hard to hold down. If Prazeras can get up a few times and make Fabitsky return to the center and strike again, or reverse and get on top, I think Prazeras is going to be the one with the more energy and later on. And I think Prazeras could keep it standing and win the fight if he holds him against the cage. Maybe Fabitsky could zap some energy and then take him down in rounds 2 and 3, have a better chance for top control. But Prazeras needs to use his kicks, overhand, stop the forward movement of Fabitsky. Don't be afraid to take Fabitsky down either. We've shown that he's been taken down before. And Prazeras should throw leg kicks. If he could hurt the leg of Fabitsky, he could make it harder for Bartos to implement his game plan. And I'm going to go with Michel Prazeras via decision, but I'm not extremely confident on this fight. And if you ask me, I think it's a dog or pass fight on that one. Up next, we have my most confident pick of the card, and I actually have a pretty sizable bet on this fight, and it's Poliana Botelho against Cynthia Calvillo. And, Poliana Botelho, she's a good fighter. She's rapidly improving. I think she's very big for the weight class. She's a scary striker. She has massive power. She showed that. She had a finish in less than 1 minute against Suri Kondo. And she has a wide stance. She likes to walk her opponents down, make the octagon small. And she's a great kicker. Her left body kick is vicious. She'll throw spinning back kicks to the body as well as front kicks. When she lands, all her opponents seem to really react to it. They'll back off. And she'll use her kicks to close the distance, which you can get in punching range. She'll unload with straight punching combinations with bad intentions. She'll throw wild overhands and looping hooks and uppercuts at times. But she's much more technical with her kicks than her punches. But when she gets her opponents back against the cage and she unloads with her combos, she's fast, she's powerful, and she can end the fight. And she does like to brawl. She could eat clean shots, try to fire back. She's a good chin. I have seen her persevere through getting dropped badly to, finish a fight with a girl on her stool in round 5. And she's going to be a problem for almost everyone she fights at range. She's one of the most dangerous strikers in the division. And she has 6 KO TKOs and 7 wins. Really like her movement, her in-and-out footwork. And she can get a bit flat-footed at times when she sits down on her shots. But she is very quick, and she can get away with it. And she's never been finished herself. She is an offensive grappler, and you won't see her initiate the clinch or grappling scenarios very much, especially not in this match. And she previously had a very wide stance, a lot of weight on her front leg. Fighters were able to grab single legs or just close the distance, get upper body clinch because she was stationary. And Pearl Gonzalez was able to do that, get her to the fence. And she wasn't really able to do anything. She wasn't able to get Botelho down even at all. Botelho was able to land some knees, some elbows, but she didn't do a good job of getting double underhooks circling away, and she kind of made it a close fight by just leaving her back against the fence. She does have a good sprawl in space. She does a good job disengaging, returning back to the center of the octagon, and she's a blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and she's done some competition, so I'm sure she's decent on the ground, but I haven't seen much of it. I did see her go for a leg lock against Viviana Pereira, get back to her feet. She has tremendous cardio. She's very strong in the clinch as well. She's going to probably be ragdolling Calvillo if they get in the clinch. And her body shots tend to slow fighters down over time, and she's usually a fresher fighter in the later rounds. She's fought a lot of 5-round fights. And Botelho has no submission. She's never been submitted herself. And she's going to want to come out, be very aggressive with her kicking game, stuff the shots at Calvillo, keep the fight on the feet. And I don't see Calvillo being much of a threat on the feet for Botelho. And if Botelho can keep this standing, it's her fight to lose. And for Cynthia Calvillo, she was pinned by Dana White as a future UFC star, but things haven't quite panned out. She's not only lost her last fight to Carla Esparza, but she was popped by USADA, suspended 9 months, and the suspension was for weed, so it was kind of bullshit, but nonetheless it quelled her momentum or hype a little bit. And she's now returning. She's trying to re-announce herself with a big win here. And Calvillo has good movement. She tries to work behind a jab, a straight right hand. She does a decent job countering with her right hand, moving her head off center line. She has a nice check left hook in the pocket. She'll throw occasional leg kicks, but she isn't much of a kicker. She can get very flat-footed when she tries to throw a combination. She'll stand right in front of opponents and get hit. She cannot do that against a striker like Botelho, who hits with much harder than any girl she's ever faced. And Calvillo's hand speed is a tad slow, and she'll probably be at a speed disadvantage on the feet here. She also doesn't possess big power, and I struggle to see her keeping Botelho honest with her punching power. She's a tough girl. She has a good chin, but she's fought almost exclusively grapplers in her career. She does have 2 TKOs, and she's never been finished. And she's a great BJJ practitioner. She's very dangerous on the ground. She's amazing in scrambles. Her flexibility makes her able to end up in dominant positions. She isn't a great wrestler, even a very active seeker of the takedown, but she's definitely will need to be in this matchup. She did have a nice duck under Esparza over an overhand. She was able to get a nice double leg takedown. She will try to get the single collar tie, then shoot takedowns from there. But overall, she isn't a great wrestler. And she's going to be the smaller girl here. I don't think she'll want to try to go strength for strength with Botelho in the clinch. And she hasn't done that in any of her previous fights. I don't think she's going to want to grind against the feds in this fight. On top, she's strong. But if you just be safe, she seems to not be extremely active. Like Carla Esparza wasn't giving her any scramble transitions. She was staying very calm. And she even had an armbar attempt on Calvillo. So I think if you don't scramble with this girl and you just keep your jiu-jitsu very basic defense, I think that she's not quite as dangerous, but obviously she's very dangerous. Off of her back, she's even more dangerous in my opinion. She has very dexterous legs. She's able to make her opponents off balance. She'll offset their balance and create scrambles where she could take the back or lock in a choke. She has great back takes. She showed that with a 6 submission over Amanda Cooper. She also has nice triangles and arm bars. She works quickly to the, on the mat. She'll go for submissions. She has 2 rear naked chokes in his career, and she has good cardio. She can go hard for 3 rounds. I see Calvillo trying to use a ton of movement, trying to evade, stay safe on the feet, and then just try to fight him out to duck under, take Botelho to the mat. I don't think she'll want anything to do with the striking. If she can get it to the mat, I think she's going to be in danger of being finished. And if she can't get it down, she needs to try to keep position while looking for a finish and not let Botelho back to her feet by being too aggressive on the ground. And Botelho's going to have a huge speed and size advantage, and I think her leg kicks and body kicks will be a huge factor. Botelho needs to stay long, but throw hard shots, make Calvillo uncomfortable. And if she can land big shots early, have Calvillo start to panic wrestle, she could tire her out possibly and finish her late. I see Botelho bossing this fight, walking Calvillo down, landing hard, low leg kicks, body kicks, ultimately clipping Calvillo in the pocket with the counterpunch. And I think that she's going to crumble her, man. I think that Botelho is going to finish her via second round knockout. And I think she's just too big, too strong, too athletic. And she's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this division. And up next, you have Marlon Vera against Guido Canetti. And this is a close fight also, in my opinion. There's a lot of live dogs on this card, if you ask me. And this fight between a prospect trying to regain his footing and an old veteran who's had a bit of a resurgence in his career. Canetti, he was left for dead after a 2-year USADA suspension. And when he returned, people assumed he was done. And he's looked the best he's ever looked in his 2 return fights. In Team Alpha Male, he's been hitting on all cylinders. I picked him to win his last fight against Diego Rivas, and everyone seemed to be on Rivas in that fight, and Canetti was getting a little love, and he was able to get out there and get the win. I think he's going to have a little love here again. But he's looked very quick recently. He does a good job using good in-and-out footwork, fakes and feints, and he's not being an easy target to hit. He has good kicks. He'll throw nice head kicks, front kicks to the body. He has very heavy kicks, inside, outside leg kicks. He can load up on his kicks. He can be countered if his opponents can time it. And he has nice left straight. He'll attack with the left straight right hook combo. And he's going to be the much faster guy. And he was attacking with some devastating shots, just spinning hook kicks in his last fight. And he was doing a great job landing the left straight. And he has good kicks. He keeps his distance, pulls his opponents into his shots. He has a decent uppercut. He'll stick a double jab out there as well and then throw the uppercut. He can't get too aggressive, get a bit sloppy. He can run forward, either get clipped and finish or take it down. And he also throws spitty kicks sometimes when he doesn't have enough space. And he can get knocked off balance, get taken down, end up in bad positions on the ground. He does have a good chin, and he's especially dangerous in round 1. He has 3 KO TKOs and 8 wins, and he's only been knocked out 1 time by Alejandro Perez. He isn't a great grappler, but he's improving, and he's not bad. He's a good double leg shot. He does a good job of laying hard knees in the clinch. He also will throw shots off the break very effectively. He catches opponents in short range. He has good initial takedown defense. He's very good at sprawling, digging underhooks, either bullying the fighters over and ending up on top control or disengaging. And if fighters can make him chain wrestle, that's where he's deficient. He can be taken down. He isn't good off his back. He doesn't have much activity. He just tries to control posture, wait for the refs to stand it up. He has been submitted a couple times in the past, tapped very quickly, and he doesn't show very good resolve when he gets put in submissions. But in his last fight, he actually did. You know, he got out of a deep guillotine. He got out of an armbar. And Canetti's been submitted 3 times, and he has 3 submissions himself. He needs to avoid going to the mat in this fight, keep this fight at range on the feet. He's probably going to be the faster, more explosive fighter. And if he can keep Vera at kicking range, he'll have his most success. And for Marlon Vera, he picked up a much-needed victory in his last fight after dropping back-to-back contests. He throws a nice straight left hand and jab. He uses good footwork to not get pushed up against the cage. His hands are a bit weak, though, and if his opponents can work into the pocket against him, they can make him fight off his back foot and be less effective. He can become too passive in this fight. It's not go for it. He throws very good left kicks to the body, though. Very good kicks to the head. He's fast with them. He's dangerous with his left high kick. He can hurt you with it, and he's good at throwing inside calf kicks as well as oblique kicks to the knees. He throws nice knees to the head, and at times he'll time on takedown attempts of his opponent, and he's very good at that. He has great cardio. He'll go for it like he did in the Brad Pickett fight. If he's down 2-0, he'll hunt for the kill in the 3rd round. Fighters that give him the most trouble are fighters who walk him down, get inside, jam his kicks. This fight will be of a more range striking fight in my opinion, and it'll give Marlon the opportunity to show off his striking skills a bit more. He does have 4 KO TKOs, including 1 in his last fight. He has a great chin. He's tough. He's never been finished in his career. He's fought guys like John Lineker. And he's a very good jiu-jitsu player. He's an opportunistic submission artist. He's a decent wrestler. He likes to use body lock into a double leg. He isn't an active seeker of the takedown, and he will not shoot takedowns often, but he does have solid takedown defense against the cage. He's dangerous with submissions. He'll attack with slick guillotines and Kimuras as counters, and he's very good at capitalizing on small openings and finishing the fight on the ground. Off his back, he has a very nice guard. He has nice elbows. He'll attack with arm bars and triangles. And Vera should try to walk forward, makes Canetti fight backwards. I think Vera could possibly stun and submit Canetti if he's aggressive. And I'm going to pick Marlon Vera here. Cheeto may struggle early with the speed and explosiveness of Canetti, but eventually I see him finding his distance, reading the timing of Canetti. I think he's either going to land a shot at range and hurt Canetti and submit him, or knock him out, or take him down and submit him late. And the fight, the longer it goes, the better for Vera, in my opinion. Vera has experience fighting some of the hardest hitters in the division, like John Lineker, Douglas Andrade, and he survived, so I think he'll be not intimidated by Canetti. I think he's going to know how to weather the storm. And I'm going to go with Marlon Vera via 2nd round submission, but that's a decently close fight. You know, I would say Guido's a live dog for sure. And then next you have Ian Heinisch against Cesar Ferreira, and this is a fun fight. You know, it was originally supposed to be Cesar Ferreira against Tom Breeze, which was another great fight, but this fight's also pretty good, man. And Ian Heinisch is stepping in on short notice. He's a powerhouse. It's definitely a dangerous fight for Muntanchi. Heinisch is coming off 3 consecutive knockouts, and he can finish a fight with 1 shot. He's a very explosive fighter. He's athletic. He's light on his feet. He likes to bounce on the outside until he explodes in. He likes to throw kicks such as leg kicks, body kicks. He'll throw front kicks to the body and the head. He has a nasty left hand. His left hook is really nice, and a really nice overhand right. He does a great job closing distance, throwing left hook into a double leg or faking a double leg coming over the top with his overhand right. He has a massive power, and 1 shot can put fighters completely unconscious. He has 4 KO TKOs, but he recently found his power much more, 3 straight knockouts, and he's never been finished by strikes. He's a rough and rugged fighter. He's a guy that's had to battle through a lot in life, and been able to come out the other side, and I think you have to put him out to stop him, to be honest. He's a former Division II college wrestler, and he's very explosive with his double leg shots. He does a great job setting his shots up with punches. He'll stalk opponents to the cage, close the distance, shoot doubles and single legs. When he takes fighters down, he works quickly. He likes to get to half guard. He'll rain down heavy elbows. He can put fighters unconscious with elbows, and he's a scary individual in top position. He has good chokes. He'll attack with guillotines and front chokes. He also has a nice Americana and shoulder lock. And he's a very powerful athlete. He has 2 submissions. He's been submitted 1 time. He does have strong takedown defense. And I think he'll be looking to use his wrestling reverse for this match. He trains out of Factory X at Elevation. And cardio is not an issue. And, Factory X has been on a huge roll lately. Heinisch needs to make the octagon small in this match. He needs to safely close the distance. Land his right overhand, left hook. Try to knock Muntachi out, who doesn't have the greatest chin. And Muntachi is a veteran. He will be the much more experienced fighter in this matchup. He has 13 UFC fights, and Heinisch only has 12 fights total. And Muntachi came into the UFC a very dangerous striker, nasty kicking game. But after he got knocked out a few times, he changed his style to be much more defensive about timing and movement. And he times a very good straight right hand. He lands hard body kicks. He uses a lot of movement. He does a great job not getting backed up against the cage. Very good low leg kicks, nice snap kicks to the body. He also threw side kicks to the body into the head. He has capoeira kicks, spinning kicks. He does an excellent job of pot-shotting fighters from the outside. He can tell he can time takedowns. He's great at controlling distance, landing the straight punches, getting people frustrated. Then they overexert themselves, and he'll take him down with a double leg. And when they get too close, he does that every time with the double. But he isn't a big knockout threat. He only has 3 KO TKOs in his career. And he has been KO'd 4 times in his career. Definitely has a weak chin. But he hasn't gotten knocked out in his last 6 fights. He's done a much better job at protecting himself. He has excellent timing on his double legs. He uses his takedowns in space. He doesn't spend a lot of time in the clinch going for takedowns. That's where Heinisch is capitalized in certain fights. He has big power in his drive on his takedowns. And even if he shoots a bad shot, he can still usually finish it. He isn't extremely active on top. He'll stay in your guard, land punches and elbows. He has a solid arm triangle. He also has solid foot sweep takedowns in the clinch. He does a good job dragging you to the ground, trying to take the back. He can get out-hustled at times in clinch and grappling exchanges, but you have to be good enough to scramble with Ferreira. And he has nice guillotines, so dive on if he feels he can get it. He can get clipped exiting and entering the clinch, and that's where Heinisch could possibly be dangerous. And Ferreira has solid cardio, can use a solid game plan for all 3 rounds. He earned a nice submission victory in his last match against Carl Robertson. And he's the fighter coming in with the full camp, so he's going to be the one more prepared for this fight. He has 4 submissions. He's never been submitted himself. And I see Ferreira using the same game plan he's been using in recent fights. Movement, straight punches, kicks, and well-timed takedowns. And if he can get Heinisch on his back, that'll be his best chance to find a finish. And Ian Heinisch is definitely a fighter to watch. And if he was taking the fight on full camp, I'd probably be inclined to pick him here. But Ferreira has a tricky style, and he's a veteran who has to stick to his game plan. And I see Ferreira being able to control distance with a straight right hand and kicks, ultimately take down Heinisch when he gets too over-aggressive. I'm not sure if he'll finish him, but I see him being able to control him on the ground, bank rounds. The danger round for Muntachi, in my opinion, is round 1. I expect Heinisch to try to come out hard, and he's usually a fast starter anyways. And he's going to be making his UFC debut on short notice in a foreign country, so not only do I think he'll be pumped, but I also think he'll be thinking he needs to try to finish early with his gas tank potentially. And I think Muntachi will use his aggressiveness to advantage, duck under, take him down, zap some energy out of him, and then ultimately carry that momentum into a decision, with takedowns being a key component to that. So I think that Heinisch does have a decent chance to find the knockout in the first round, but my pick is going to be Cesar Ferreira Muntachi via decision, and I'm going to go with Muntachi there. And up next here, Johnny Walker against Khalil Roundtree, and Khalil Rountree's making his return after he fucked me over at his last fight, man. I mean, shit, I had some good money on Gokhan Saki. He proved me wrong. He got the victory there, and he's going to be fighting Johnny Walker. And Johnny Walker seems like he's quite the character. He loves to dance at his walkouts. He even had, like, a strip routine in one of his walkouts, which, I don't know, was a little bit fucking weird if you ask me. But, I mean, whatever. He's athletic. He has great movement. He's very raw. He's not a great fighter, though. He's 6'1", or 6'5", with an 81.5-inch reach, so he's very big. And he looked to improve his range striking in his last fight, but Henrique Da Silva's a shell of himself. He does have a nice jab. He has a good straight right hand, nice leg kicks. He'll throw hard hooks. He'll really open up with kicks. He'll throw a ton of volume. He has a nice front kick to the face, round kick. He'll throw axe kicks, spinning roundhouse kicks, nice jump knees. He's very athletic. He can get very high with his jump knee, and he's aggressive. He crosses the distance with long punches to get in the clinch. Very quick for someone his size. He throws a ton of volume. And when fighters pressure him, he tends to move straight backwards. You can keep his chin high. You can get clipped with big shots. Definitely has a questionable chin, if you ask me. He's a finisher. He's 11 KO, TKOs, and when he has a fighter's hurt, he has a great finishing instincts, and he's a straight savage, man. You won't walk away if he knocks a fighter out like Mark Hunt. If the ref is out of position, he's going to throw huge shots until the ref stops him, man. He doesn't care if you're unconscious or not. And he has been finished by strikes twice before, and he has won 6 in a row, and he's riding a wave of momentum here. But he's not a great grappler. His takedown defense is not good. He stands too tall. He keeps his feet close together. He makes them very easy to double leg. In the clinch, he tries to get the Muay Thai plum. He's very dangerous with knees in that position. He can get his knee up to the face very quickly and in short range. He has good elbows. He'll throw them off the break. When he does get the Muay Thai plum, he is exposed to uppercuts, overhands. And he looks kind of similar in that position to a guy like Ben Saunders, where he can get too comfortable, too complacent, then get clipped with punches. He did show improved takedown defense in his last fight. He's able to sprawl in a double leg and a single. He also countered with a guillotine off a single leg takedown. He even hit a switch on a single leg, took top position, so he's shown some improvements. On top, he isn't that great. He'll try to get the back. He'll lock in a rear naked choke, but he doesn't have good back control. He doesn't get his hooks in, and fighters are able to easily turn in, get on top. He will attack with a triangle in his guard, and he has long legs. It makes him have decent subs, decent sweeps as well. He's only been submitted 2 times, and he only has 2 submissions, and he's only been submitted 1 time. And 13 of his 14 wins have come via finish. He's finished 11 in the first round, and he slows down in his last match in the second and third round. So he definitely probably wants to get it done early, but he was able to win his first decision. And Walker needs to be very careful, keep his range, stay defensively sound while staying at kicking range, and then needs to find a way to close the distance, get the fight to the ground. Walker tends to slow down, but he does have better cardio than Roundtree. And maybe the game plan will be to try to make this fight go late. But Khalil Roundtree had an unbelievable upset victory in his last match. He knocked out a complete legend in Gokhan Saki. And Roundtree is incredibly powerful and explosive. He's very dangerous in round 1. He's moved over to Black House MMA. He looks to be in a happier place, better mind space. And he has very good power. He throws a nice straight right hand, right hook. He has nice body kicks. He has strong leg kicks. He throws them early, but he gets away from them late, it seems. He goes for it early, and he's extremely aggressive. He'll get in the pocket. He'll try to push you back with powerful combos and sheer power. He holds his hands low. He likes to try to bait fighters to throw so he can counter with straight punches, his straight right hand more specifically. He has a decent jab. He's very fast and closes distance with his punching combinations very quickly. He has a good high kick, and when he hurts fighters, he's a brutal finisher. If he drops fighters, he has nasty ground and pound. He punches and hammer fists. He'll get big finishes up with ground and pound. He has a good chin, but he can get very flat-footed and clipped in the later rounds when he gets tired. He'll start to wing slow power punches, be very predictable. And he's going to have a big power advantage early on and speed advantage. And he's 6-0 with 6 knockouts. So if he gets the win, it's usually via knockout. He has a good chin. He's never been finished. And Roundtree is not a grappler, but he's shown improvements over the years. He does a good job framing when opponents close the distance, throwing nasty knees and elbows. He knocked Paul Craig out with a vicious knee in that position. He has improved his takedown defense. He's harder to shoot in on or take down than previously in his career. He will try to attack with a guillotine. He can sweep it about with it. Off his back, he really has nothing. He doesn't have a good get-up game, but he has gotten better at defending himself on the ground. He isn't a submission threat. He's never gotten a submission. He has been submitted 2 times via rear naked choke. Roundtree needs to go hard early, try to finish the fight in round 1. If he can get Walker moving backwards, jam his kicks, I think he can land clean and knock him out early. And I see Roundtree walking Walker down. I don't see him showing respect for his striking. I think he'll get him moving backwards toward the cage, and I think he's going to land a straight right hand and knock Walker out. I just think Walker's too open for UFC level, and I think he's going to get exposed here. And up next we have Ricardo Lamas against Darren Elkins in the co-main event. And this is a crossroads fight. Elkins and Lamas are both fringe contenders. With the loss here, either man will be kind of in no man's land. And Elkins built up an impressive win streak, only to be dominated in his last fight versus Volkanovski. While Lamas has had two losses in a row, he got KO'd viciously by Josh Emmett. And Lamas is a very well-rounded fighter. He has a ton of high-level experience. He has good kickboxing skills, but I think his kicks are more effective than his punches. He has a nice jab. He'll use his jab to put together his punching combinations. Good 1-2, nice left hook. He has really nice kicks. He'll attack early and often with leg kicks. Good power on his kicks. He'll throw a left hook to the body to set up his low kicks. He has very nice and tricky head kicks. He'll throw them with both legs. He can throw with full power, flick it up very quickly and surprise you. He does a good job sneaking in a head kick mid-combination. He finished Matt Grice that way. He's a good point fighter with his style. He does a good job landing volume, winning decisions. He isn't a big KO threat, but he has 5 KOs in his career. And when he hurts you, he's a solid finisher. He is a questionable chin. He's been finished 4 times via strikes. He is a former D3 All-American wrestler. And if his striking isn't working, he will attack relentlessly with takedown attempts. He prefers to get the takedowns against the cage and try to shoot in open space. He has a decent double leg, but he's very good with his single. He will attack with body locks, try to take the back, trick me to the ground. He has strong ground and pound. He's very effective with his control, with his elbows. He's dangerous with his jiu-jitsu, especially chokes. He has nasty guillotines, so dive on submissions. His takedown defense is solid, but he was grounded out by Bektik in his last match. And I see Elkins trying to do the same thing. He's very opportunistic with his takedowns, and he only has 5. And he has 5 submissions in his career. And he's never been submitted himself. He has strong cardio. He can work for all 3 rounds. I see Lamas trying to keep this fight on the feet, work his kicking game, and then maybe get takedowns at the end of rounds. And if he can use good footwork, keep Elkins at the end of his shots, he can take a decision here. And Darren Elkins, he's a grinder. He's the ultimate dog. No matter what you do to this guy, if you don't put him out, he's going to keep coming. He's an awkward striker, but he's improved a lot. He has a good jab. He does a decent straight right hand. He has a strong body kick. He used it effectively in his last match against Alexander Volkanovski. Elkins has a decent check left hook and close, and he will attack with uppercuts as well. He has an awkward counter right hand. He catches fighters coming in with it. He has a hell of a chin. His pressure breaks fighters, and a lot of his shots are too close. A lot of his shots that he takes, in my opinion, though, they're too close to knocking him out. That's what I'm trying to say. Like he takes a ton of punishment, especially in his last fight. Eventually, that's all going to come back to him. But as of now, his chin is still strong, and he has gotten KO, TKO 2 times. He isn't a big threat, but he has big knockout threat, but he has 6 KO, TKOs in his career. And Elkins is a very strong grappler. That's his main objective in his fights. He doesn't have great wrestling shots, but he likes to get a hold of you, get body locks. He's a dog in the clinch. He gets attached to you. He's very sticky. He makes it ugly. He drags fighters to the ground. He's great at scrambles. He's hard to take down, hold down himself. He's proved that against Prasad Bektik. He wore him out with grappling scenarios. He came back with a nasty head kick to finish the fight. He gets desperate with takedown attempts at times. He'll shoot from too far out. But he does have phenomenal cardio. And guys can just get tired from beating on him, and then he takes over. And he usually loses round 1 before rallying for the win. And this guy's won so many times as the underdog in the UFC. It's hard to bet against him, He always seems to make you pay for it. And I see Elkins trying to walk down Lamas, take him down. If he can get Lamas down, I see him winning the fight. Whoever can win the grappling in this fight is going to win the match. And I'm going to go with the upset here. I'm going to pick Darren Elkins. I think he's the fresher fighter. I think he's going to win that's going to want it more. And I see him wearing on Lamas in the later rounds, taking him down. And I see him get a decision here. So I'm going to go with Darren the Damage Elkins to get it done in that one. And up next we have the main event. And it's Santiago Ponzinibbio taking on Neil Magny. And Neil Magny's a workman. He's a well-rounded fighter. He always comes in phenomenal shape. He's very long. He does a good job using his jab. He'll double and triple up on it. He has a nice straight right hand. That's probably his most powerful punch. He has good front kicks to the body. He'll throw leg kicks. He tries to move, use lateral movement, use lateral footwork to stay long and avoid fighting at close range. He keeps a lot of volume on fighters, and when he finds his range, he'll start to pepper opponents with straight shots, really pick it up. He has good uppercuts in close range, and that's a punch I think you should try to land on Ponzinibbio. Magny stands very heavy on his lead leg. That's been a target for fighters in the past, like Lorenz Larkin and RDA. He has a great chin and the ability to get dropped, weather a storm, and come back to win. He is the big knockout striker. He has 7 KO, TKOs, but mostly through volume. And he has been finished twice with strikes himself. He is a strong grappler. He's a good clinch fighter. He does a great job using his length of the clinch to land big knees to the body, land body lock takedowns and trips. He likes to take the back from standing position with the wrist ride, then drag opponents to the ground. On top, he's very deliberate. He works slowly but surely. He has great control, and once he gets top position, he'll begin to work for the finish. He likes to take the back wheel, flat fighters out, land hard ground and pound before he tries to sink in the rear naked choke. He has good takedown defense. He's long. He's able to keep distance and see fighters' takedowns coming. He does a good job sprawling, digging underhooks. He has phenomenal cardio. I want to take this fight to the ground in the later fights, in my opinion. And he has good BJJ, but I wouldn't say he has great BJJ. Isn't a huge submission threat. He only has 3 submissions, and he has been submitted 4 times himself. Magny's going to need to try to keep this fight to the ground, in my opinion. I don't see his shots stopping the forward pressure of Santiago, and I see Santiago laying nasty leg kicks and hurting his leg. If he can survive a beating early, then he may be able to come back and finish a tired Ponzinibbio or take a decision. But Santiago Ponzinibbio is an amazing striker. He's great lateral in and out movement, super fast punches and kicks. His leg kicks are brutal. He throws low leg kicks which are hard to catch. He's a nasty jab, good straight right hand, right hook. He's a forward pressure fighter. He's going to bring the fight to Magny, which I think is going to work in his favor. His straight right hand has big power. He's dropped many fighters with it. Does a good job of when he finds his range, he'll throw a combination, get off center line, move in and out. And I think in the pocket boxing, you have a massive advantage over Magny. He's a knockout artist with 14 KO TKOs in his career. He showed a good chin. He's only been finished one time in his career. He also likes to eye poke, do some things like that, which, it seems like he does it in every fight, so, he's a weasel. He's someone that's do anything to win. He isn't a grappler, but he's improved his takedown defense. He's become more comfortable in the clinch. He has strong knees and elbows there. He's better at defending the takedowns. Against Magny, I advise him to try to avoid the clinch, just engage every time. Magny tries to initiate it because it's one of his only avenues to win. And Ponzinibbio does a great job sprawling on takedowns, being able to frame when fighters shoot on him, push away. He's very hard to hold down. He's strong and athletic. He does a great job returning to his feet. And I'm not sure about Ponzinibbio's true jiu-jitsu level because I've never been able to see him use it really. But he's a black belt, so he knows what to do on the ground. And I'm not sure if Ponzinibbio or if Magny's even better than Ponzinibbio on the ground. And Ponzinibbio needs to pressure Magny, walk him down with punching combinations and leg kicks. And if he can land his jab, get Magny moving backwards, land that leg kick, I could see him taking Magny out early. I think this is a tough matchup for Neil Magny. He's always struggled against more explosive athletes, and he's fighting an extremely athletic, powerful fighter. Magny's going to need to get through the fire to get takedowns because he doesn't have good shots. He first get clinch takedowns, and that means you have to take shots. I see Magny get his leg smashed early, and Ponzinibbio getting Magny to back against the cage, get inside, put him out with punching combinations. So I'm going to go with Santiago Ponzinibbio via first round finish. If Magny can get it past the third round, then I think he'll have a better shot at winning, but I think Santiago is going to be able to get him out of there early in the first round. Santiago is a very aggressive, explosive guy, and that's exactly the type of people that Neil has struggled with in his career. And for the most confident pick of the night, like I said, or the week, like I said, I'm going to go with Poliana, Botelho. And for the parlay of the week, I'm going to say to go with Poliana, Botelho, and Alejandro Pantoja. So I think that's a good parlay of the week. And, some other plays that I like on the card. Like I said, I have a play on Jesus Pinedo, and I also think that Anderson Dos Santos is very live in that fight. I think Hector Aldana is very live. I think that Bartosz Fabinski is a live fighter. I think Guido Canetti's a live fighter. Ian Heinisch is live. Darren Elkins is live. So I think a lot of upsets can happen in this card. So if you want to just go straight upsets on this card, that may be a profitable night for you. I think Khalil versus Johnny Walker, I think it's safe to say that fight's going to end inside the distance. I also think that Ian Heinisch, if you're going to pick him to win, you might as well pick him to win by KO because I don't think he's going to win decision, and I don't think he's going to submit Cesar Ferreira. And same thing with Cynthia Calvillo. I think if you want to go with Cynthia Calvillo, I think your best bet is to pick her by submission because I don't think she's going to win a fight by decision. I don't think she's going to knock out Poliana, obviously. So that's going to be my video for the week. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. I just want to send a shout out to all you guys that are supporting the channel. I had almost 50,000 views on my last video, which is awesome. I never thought I'd be getting that much support this early on. So appreciate everyone, and make sure to keep sharing, keep commenting, keep liking the video, show it to your friends, and pass it along, and maybe we can all make money together. And hopefully I can get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're going to continue to try to keep that goal. And hopefully you guys all enjoy the show, and I'll see you guys next week.